Let's talk a little bit about what it means for a system to be stable. The word stability is something that you probably encounter a lot, and you may have your own notion of what it means for a system to be stable, or what you may require in terms of stability from a system. But there is a particular notion of stability that we are going to talk about in this class, and that's known as a bounded input, bounded output stability. I'll begin by first talking about what it means for a signal to be bounded. Okay, so let's say we have a signal x of t. We say that the signal is bounded if the magnitude of x of t is bounded by a number, a positive number called m sub x. Okay, this number can be as big as you want it to be, but it cannot be. It's not infinite. There is an actual number such that the magnitude of x of t is smaller than this number. If that is true, then we say that the signal x of t is bounded. Okay, so what I mean by this is the magnitude of x of t has to be bounded by this number m sub x for all values of t. Now another way to think about it is, if x of t is real and if you sketch x of t, the signal strictly lies between positive m sub x and negative m sub x. Okay, so this means that the signal is bounded. It does not exceed this bound. It does not exceed positive m sub x or go below negative m sub x for all values of t. Okay, so here are a couple of examples of signals that are bounded. Suppose I have the signal, say e to the minus t times u of t. So what is this signal? This signal is 0 for all values of t less than 0, and then it decays exponentially starting from 1 at time t equal to 0. So clearly in this case the magnitude of x of t is less than or equal to 1 for all t. So we have this bound mx which is equal to 1. Okay, so here is another signal that's bounded. X of t is equal to cosine t. So this signal is always bounded between plus 1 and minus 1 again, no matter what t is, right? T can become very large or very small, can become negative, it can become positive. In all these cases, cosine of t never really exceeds plus 1 or falls below negative 1. So this is always bounded between plus 1 and minus 1. So in this case also mx is equal to 1. So these are a couple of signals that are bounded. Well, here are a couple of examples of signals that are unbounded. Suppose you take the very first example I gave you, x of t is equal to e raised to minus t times u of t, and I removed this u of t. What about this signal? Now this signal is not bounded, right? Because for negative values of t, the signal is exponentially increasing. As t becomes more and more negative, x of t becomes bigger and bigger. But what's important is that as t tends to infinity, x of t tends to infinity as well. I'm sorry, t tends to negative infinity. As t tends to negative infinity, x of t tends to infinity. Which means you can never give me a value for m sub x such that x of t is always smaller than this value. No matter how large a m sub x you choose, there will be a large enough negative value of t such that x of t would be greater than the m sub x you chose. Therefore the signal is unbounded. So here is another example. X of t is equal to t. So this is a signal which, if you plot, is going to look like this. Again, the signal grows without bounds. As t tends to infinity, x of t tends to infinity, or as t tends to negative infinity, x of t tends to negative infinity. In both cases, the magnitude of x of t becomes unbounded. Okay. All right. So these are a couple of examples of unbounded signals. Now let's talk about how we can define this notion of a system being stable or unstable. So suppose I have a system. We say that this system is stable, or is BIBO stable, if every bounded input produces a bounded output. And notice that the input and the outputs to my system are signals. So if every bounded input signal produces a bounded output signal, then we say that the system is stable. Okay. So the stability is actually a property of the system, whereas boundedness is a property of a signal. A lot of students sometimes come and give me signals that are bounded and tell me that this is a stable signal. That doesn't make much sense. We're talking about systems which need to be stable. So our definition of stability here is that if every bounded input produces a bounded output, then we say that the system is stable. Okay. In engineering practice, what we really need is this. In several cases, what we want to make sure is that the output signals do not get unbounded. Okay. For example, if you have a circuit, and if the output signals, let's say, represent some currents or voltages in the circuit, if some disturbance to the input causes these signals to grow unbounded, such that you dissipate too much heat through the resistor and it damages your circuit components, things like this. So we want to avoid these kinds of things from happening. So this is why we define this notion of a stability. Okay, but mathematically the way we are going to define it is to say every bounded input needs to produce a bounded output signal. If this is true, then we say that the system is stable. And in working out problems, if I give you a system and I ask you if it's stable or not, one thing, the way I usually think about these things is to say, first I try to understand what the system is doing. I try to get some intuition into what is the relationship between the input and the output. And if I guess that this could be an unstable system, all I require is one bounded input that results in an unbounded output. Okay, so it may be quite easy to prove that a system is not stable by actually coming up with a bounded input that produces an unbounded output. Okay, but proving that a system is stable may be harder, because you have to prove that every bounded input produces a bounded output. Often this argument has to be made on the exact relationship between y of t and x of t, and make the argument that if y has to be bounded, or if y has to become unbounded, the only way this can happen is if x also becomes unbounded. Okay, so we will work out a couple of examples and then you will see what happens. So suppose I have the system y of t is equal to t squared times x of t. Is this a bounded signal? Sorry, is this a bounded system? Oops, is this a stable system or unstable system? I think I picked both combinations of things which I did not really want to say. I want to see whether the system is stable or not. So how can we solve this? Well, I look at the system and it looks like what's going on is the output at any time is t squared times the input at that time. And I know that t squared is something that will grow as t increases. As t becomes large positive or large negative values, t squared will become large positive or large negative values. And there is no bound to t squared. So it looks like I could produce an unbounded signal y of t by considering a bounded signal x of t. For example, if x of t is just equal to 1 for all t, so that's an input signal which simply looks like this. It's just 1 for all values of t. So let's say this is x of t. This is clearly a bounded input, right? Suppose this goes into my system, what will be the output? Well, from the relationship I have, it says that my output is going to be t squared times x of t. So this is actually going to be a function, oops, cross 0. X of t is 1 for all values of t, so y of t is simply going to be t squared. And this is unbounded, right? Because there is no bound, there is no number m sub y that you can give me and claim that the magnitude of y of t is smaller than this number, because I can always give you a value of t for which this will not be true. Okay, so the answer is this is not stable. So here is another example which I worked out in class, which some students seem to get confused about. So let me work it out here. Y of t is e raised to x of t. Is this system stable or unstable? Okay. Now, if I look at this system, okay, what is it doing? The output is the you take the input and you raise it to raise e to this power, and that's what gives you the output, right? So if y has to become unbounded, is it possible that I could make y unbounded by picking a bounded x of t? Now, since y of t depends on x of t as e raised to x of t, it looks to me that the only way to make y of t unbounded is to make x of t unbounded as well, right? So formally, let's think about it this way. If x of t or magnitude of x of t is smaller than or equal to m sub x, then the magnitude of y of t is definitely smaller than or equal to e raised to m sub x. Right? E raised to m sub x is just another number, and let's call that m sub y. So now we have found a number m sub y such that the magnitude of y of t is always smaller than this number. Does this make sense? Or the other way to think about it is this: the only way for y of t to become unbounded is if x of t is also unbounded. Otherwise, I can always take the maximum value taken by x of t, raise e to that power to that number, and say that y of t is always bounded by this number. Okay, so this system is stable. Now, I think what kind of confused a few students is the fact that you have things like e raised to x of t, and you think, well, e raised to x of t is something that grows very rapidly. I think students get a lot confused between the function e raised to t and e raised to x of t. So do not get confused between these two things. In fact, if I had a system for which the output is e raised to t times x of t, now this would be unstable, because this can blow up or can grow without bounds. Okay.